There is talk now of an operation by the Ukrainian Liberation Forces to liberate Opatny, a small village south of Avdiivka and north of temporarily occupied Donetsk. That said, some see this as a potential operational and tactical achievement, while others are predicting operations in Donetsk. Little Opatny is more than just a village, but more on that later. And now what is happening in this area of the fighting? Heavy fighting continues in the vicinity of Opatny. Taking advantage of the element of surprise, the AFU forced the occupants out of part of the occupied positions. Now the enemy has recovered a little and is urgently looking for reserves, while simultaneously biting into every position in the village. The AFU struck where the enemy did not expect it at all. The combatants conducted a cool operation and are now trying to scale it up. So let's be patient and wait for news. At the moment all we can say is that the grey zone has increased slightly. But this does not yet mean an increase in control in the area of the village or in the village itself. There is a low level of coordination between the command of the enemy units. Everyone is trying to pull the blanket over themselves. This is due to the fact that in addition to the Russian armed forces, there are a lot of units of local combat aborigines. The Ukrainian side does not control the village yet, but at the same time they have entrenched themselves to the north of it, right up to the outskirts. The occupiers have been storming Opatny and the fields north of it for more than a month, and suffered huge losses. The soldiers of the AFU hurt them very much. And I am somehow sure that the enemy will try to restore the status quo after some time. So, some see this as an operational tactical achievement, while others predict operations in Donetsk. I would now like to draw attention to a slightly different aspect, much more global, covering even more than the combat zone. North of Opatny is Avdiivka, which even during the calm period from 2015 to 2022 remained the hottest point along the entire front line, but which the occupiers have still not been able to capture. Opatny is an intermediate springboard to the northern and northwestern sector of Donetsk. But the main thing is not even that. As I've noted many times before, the Russian occupation forces have lost the ability to conduct large-scale, broad-front offensive operations since the second half of 2022. How many cities with millions of inhabitants have they captured since August 2022? Rhetorical question. How many oblasts or districts in oblasts have they captured? Also, none. Their only achievement since the second half of 2022 is the small town of Bakhmut without a single street, which was attacked along a narrow front and which they are now progressively losing under the pressure of the AFU. And this is an important moment. Now the occupants are losing their defense in the Zaporizhia Triangle Novoprokopivka Verbovo Kertovate. It is also subsiding in the area of Staromlinivka. The south of Bakhmut is cracking. On the left bank of the Kherson region is expanding grey zone. Novomayorsk, Opatny? Defense is cracking along the entire front line of the occupants. And this is happening in the second half of 2023. Opatny is not just a sign of success in a particular location, it is an indicator of the depletion and loss of defensive capabilities by Russian forces, just as it was with their offensive capabilities last year.